Okay, I think this is the first time that, like, ever since I started wearing this hat where the poof ball is falling, like, practically in front of me. Alright, so, my low, my high, my act of kindness. My low is that I have been feeling really low on energy lately, so much so that that's why I have a late start today. Like, I went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night and I only got up out of bed at 10:30. So, I needed the rest. I really did. But, you know, luckily I want to give out a huge shout out and my high for the day to my mother. Because I called her and talked to her and made me sort of uplifted my spirits a little bit. Gave me a little more energy and, you know, the day is going to take care of itself, right? Let's see, my act of kindness was, well, I guess calling my mom can be an act of kindness, I suppose. Anything happened yesterday? I did some banging for my grandmother, so I did that. Outside of that, another high I got is, my, sort of ex-step grandmother from Seattle gave me my, yearly advent calendar. So this is kind of cool. It's got the chocolates in it. Well, here's the thing. It's been in, like, my mailbox for, like, 2 weeks or something. But, like, I didn't know about it until, like, I got a call from my landlord saying, hey, there's something in the package thing for you. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah. Although, considering that we're pretty deep into December already, I mean, normally I just like to be the grown man I am and wait until, you know, the 24th and then have, like, all the chocolates wholesale. Probably, I might actually do that, I don't know. I'll have to play that by ear. So, anyway, good morning and happy Saturday, everybody. It's been a good while since I did a video like this. In fact, it was before Thanksgiving, where I did a class and session video. So, I've kind of been going back and forth as to which class I was going to talk about this particular week, because the more I think about it, like, I have this week, next week, and then the following week. And then that'll be like the last class and session video for 2020, which will be right before Christmas, because remember, I don't do class and session videos during the time of year when school is in session. So, you know, Christmas, New Year's, that time. So, I guess considering that the last one I did involved me talking about earth science, the next step would probably have to be to go to the next one in, you know, succession when you go to school at Horseheads, and after earth science, you take biology. So, yeah. Now, this was the first, now remember I said earth science was the first high school class that I took. But I took that, like, during the summers before my 8th and 9th grade years. Like, one half before 8th grade, the other half before 9th grade. So I already had that requirement locked down. Biology was the first science class that I had in which I was legitimately, like, during the school year. It was legitimately during the school year. Like, the block scheduling we had, you know, it was all set in stone. It was all there. But it was actually, rather convenient, because here's what they wind up doing at Horseheads. If you're taking a science course, because here's the thing, block scheduling is, instead of like 8 classes, you have like 5, but they're all well over an hour long, like an hour and almost an hour and a half actually. So when you're taking a science, depending on the day of the week, you would have a lab that already counted for 2 classes on the day, because you took the actual science every single day of the week, as you should. But the labs were every other day of the week. Say, I forget if they were always on, like, I forget if they were, if it was like, cause we had like odd even days, I think is what it was, or A, B days. And I forget if the lab was every single B day, meaning sometimes you'd have a lab like 3 times a week and the other times like 2 times a week, or if it was like just on those particular days of the week, like say it was only on Tuesdays and Thursdays and that was it. But here's the thing, for the most part, for biology and chemistry, when I get to that one, I had biology as my first class in the morning. If I had a lab, then I was pretty much in that room for the entire morning. Like from 7:40 when class began. Yes, class started at 7:40. So this was particularly late. To well after, actually like almost 11 o'clock. That was when I was essentially in that particular classroom. So if I didn't have a lab that particular day, I had a gym class, in case anyone was wondering. So yeah, gym, everyone loves gym class. Gym class is awesome. Right. So naturally, when it came to biology, you know, it's high school biology. You know, a few beats are going to be there for anyone who's ever taken it. You know, there was, actually, this is a very peculiar situation because the actual teacher who was supposed to teach biology, I do believe she wound up getting sick with, I think it might have actually been cancer. So for that entire semester when I took biology, I had essentially a substitute. But this guy knew exactly what he was doing. You know, see, the original teacher was supposed to be a woman, an older woman, but this guy was like a young dude. But, you know, he was pretty chill, he was pretty cool. You could talk to him a little bit. He was actually rather engaging. And, you know, because here's the thing, I took biology as like in my second semester of Horseheads. So second semester freshman year. And the first semester, you know, it was just like a whirlwind of emotions going on. Like I had football going on. I started to not do well in math A1, which I was taking at that time. Again, I started noticing girls, so that in itself is already a huge problem. You know, I actually wanted to take an opportunity for this second semester, and I started wrestling for the first time too. Holy cow, I forgot I started wrestling then too. So basically, this new semester, I really want to start off with a clean slate. And I just immediately started like hitting the ground running, you know. I was doing great in that class, and it really started with biology. Like I started doing great, I started opening up a little bit, you know. I started talking to girls more, because here's the thing, I've never been shy around girls, but this was also during the time when, you know, I started noticing girls, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should, you know, sort of, you know, be interested in how pretty a girl is, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like judgmental or anything, it's just, you know, when you're I was going through puberty, essentially. So, you know, it was a balancing act. Because, you know, you also want to be, you know, nice to everyone, including girls. So, you know, it was just sort of, again, a balancing act. You want to, like, be sure you're doing well with your schoolwork, you want to be sure you're doing everything else, getting along with everyone, all that stuff. At the same time, you know, you start noticing what your interests are. And it was hard, but this was a sort of hard where once I sort of had my quote-unquote footing, and I really do think it started with biology, just because I actually sat literally next to a cheerleader in that class. So, needless to say, I had to shape up, and I had to shape up right away. So, in a way, I was thrown right into the fire. And I got really comfortable really easily, and you know, I started doing better. I started being social more, outgoing. And don't get me wrong, those who've known me forever know I've always been kind of on the goofy side. But I like to think I was always well-meaning. And, I started opening up a little bit, having fun conversations. Because in the beginning, I just wanted to focus on my schoolwork, not have anything to do with anyone, and among other things, I was feeling really depressed. So, I thought biology was sort of a means to, get better with that. So this was actually, technically no, this wasn't my first high school science class, but it's the one I took when the high school year was going on. So it definitely has that going for it. But you're probably wondering, did I learn anything from it at all? Well, sure I did. I remember because there's 3 major exams, or maybe 4, including the Regents. 3 or 4 major exams, including the Regents. And the first exam, no kidding, was a good majority of it was one subject, and that was, because in the beginning of the biology semester, in the beginning of that biology course, the common theme we talked about was common ancestry, and how things had evolved from what they were back then to where they are now. People, reptiles, amphibians, all those things. So it was really interesting and easy to remember. We talked about a bunch of other stuff too, some sort of, really in biology, you really only need to know one chemical formula, and that's the one for glucose, because everything uses glucose. C6H12O6, I believe is what it is. I think I may just remember that. Yeah, I think so, yeah. So, yeah, this was actually a very, it was a very interesting class. It was very engaging. I was actually in a class with a lot of really good people, really nice people too. So that's always a plus, because, even if you're in a class where you don't know anyone, if they're at least nice, it sort of takes some of that edge off. And I really enjoyed that. So I said before that, by my count, I had of all the Regents exams I took, I had 2 or 3, because remember, I could never break 90 on the Regents exam. I could never get to 90. 3, at least, I want to say at least 2 or 3, but I think it was only one class where I was very close to breaking 90, and this was one of them. If this wasn't one of the classes where I got an 89 on the Regents exam, it's definitely I definitely got an 87. Somewhere in that ballpark, or maybe it was, I know I did particularly well on the Regents exam. In the end, I'm 30 years old, I'm a grown man, and I have my high school diploma, I have a college diploma. So, in the grand scheme of things, how I did in the Regents exam is, well, it's arbitrary. But, they do, let's be honest, if you live in New York State, they always make a big deal about the Regents exam. That's just how it is. And even though I could never break 90, I can tell you for a fact I never failed any Regents exams. In fact, I may have said this already, but the 2 Regents exams I did the worst on were Math B and English. And I already talked about the math one, so I should probably talk about English at some point. Maybe. I'll have to play that by ear. So, yeah, this was a really fun, interesting class. I'm really glad I took it. I had to because it's part of the school curriculum. I met a lot of really good people. Some people I'm friends with even now, over Facebook and stuff. I know that some people who are in that class, and you know who you are living wonderful lives. You have families and kids and stuff. It's been over 15 years. I would think that you'd have something like that at this point. And me, I'm just a lonely single loser. I don't know, maybe someday. That was actually something I was telling my mom about earlier today too. Just because yeah, the whole thing about, oh, you'll never find love unless you learn to love yourself. Well, whether that's true or not, maybe someone can come in your life and help you find love within, It was actually a really emotional sort of conversation, but a necessary one. Just like taking biology was necessary too. Anything else? I mean, I guess I could talk a little bit about some of the labs, because we have what's called like a lab guide, where it was like a giant packet where like every lab we did, we had to like fill in the packet, and like that was part of your grade or something. We did stuff like that. There was one we had to draw like our own sort of made up animal or something, and how it would adapt to whatever environment it lives in. That was kind of neat. There was a class project where we grew like a plant in like a jar that's like surrounded by a damp paper towel. That was really cool. And you get that, and because it's in a glass jar, you actually get to see like the seed like sprout. It was really neat. So yeah, this is a fun class. Oh, but the coolest thing ever though was this biology class. This particular classroom was one of 2 classrooms, including my homeroom actually, that had like a giant fish tank. And it was awesome. Like you got to, you know, if you were bored, you got to look at some fish. So, I doesn't like looking at an aquarium. Aquariums are cool. Just like that biology class as a whole was. And I'm glad I took it. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, notification YouTube. I'm very humble. I made this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, I'm going to be here to lend you know, back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.